remarks, and I just had a different impression. As the chairman has pointed out, the nominee answered many hundreds of questions, and he answered many, many questions here, and I just didn't see that. And as I sat here listening, I kept thinking about some of President Trump's nominees and how they didn't answer questions, and I didn't see my colleagues using that as a defining reason for not supporting them. But I will leave that aside, and I have a respect for Senator Lee, and I hope that I appreciated that he saw some good in the nominee, and I'm hoping that he will work with him, especially in the area of antitrust, as we move forward. Secondly, I wanted to address some of the comments that Senator Cruz has, and I just want to make clear, I thought it was very important that the future Attorney General, address the issues raised by my Republican colleagues about the nominees that will be before us, Vanita Gupta and Lisa Monaco and Ms. Clark. And he said he couldn't do this without them, that they are his team. And of course, you're not going to agree with everything they've ever said, and he maybe doesn't agree with everything they've ever said. But the point is, he wants a good team in place. And in his words, he said this. He said, he has the humility to recognize that no one person can have all of the skills necessary to run the Justice Department. And so in his words, they have experiences that he does not have to help him lead the Justice Department. And I think we will learn more about those experiences that they've had and the work that they have done and the support they actually have garnered from people from both sides of the aisle, including police groups, as we move forward. Third, I think it's really important to recognize here, based on what the country has been through, the broad support that Merrick Garland brings to this job. More than 150 former Justice Department officials of both parties, including 2 former Republican attorneys generals, Michael Mukasey and Alberto Gonzales, who both served as attorney generals in the George W. Bush administration, have given Merrick Garland their support. And over 60 former federal judges appointed by presidents of both parties have urged the Senate to confirm him. The nation's largest law enforcement organizations, including the Fraternal Order of Police, the Major Chiefs Association, the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, have expressed their support for Judge Garland's nomination. The International Association of Chiefs of Police stated that Judge Garland's years of experience, his expertise, and unwavering dedication to the rule of law are evidence of his outstanding qualifications. And 58 civil and human rights organizations, including the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights and NAACP, commended Judge Garland's demonstrated commitment to equality, fairness, and access to justice. I think the department cries out for someone right now that has that kind of broad support, that has that independence that comes from being a judge. And for me personally, as I listened to my colleague talk about the questions that he felt needed to be answered, I got a lot of answers from who respects the judge, who has supported the judge, the fact that the ranking member, Senator Grassley, on this committee, who's not an easy get, is supporting this nominee. The fact that Senator Cornyn is supporting this nominee, the fact that Senator Tillis is supporting this nominee, I think that should mean something to my colleagues on the Republican side. For me, the fact that this nominee committed to vigorously enforce the law and prosecuted cases down the line, including against those that tried to destroy this very building, this very Capitol, that meant a lot to me. The fact that he also showed compassion, and the fact that he believes that as a prosecutor, you are in fact a minister of justice, and his support for conviction integrity unions, his support for drug courts, something that we have shared in work on with people on the other side of the aisle. In fact, Senator Lee and I and Senator Durbin and many others, Senator Booker, worked on changes to our sentencing because of that belief that, in fact, prosecutors should be ministers of justice. I asked the nominee about the many challenges facing our country, including criminal justice reform, with George Floyd's murder in Minnesota and many other cases across the country. He was committed and agreed that racial justice must be a centerpiece of the department's work. We discussed at length the need to pass and reauthorize the Violence Against Women Act, which includes two very important bills. One, a bill I have with Senator Cornyn, the Abby Hunold Act, about law enforcement response to sexual assault cases, and also my bill to protect victims of domestic violence and stalking from gun violence that's included in that bill. I'm confident he will prioritize the Violence Against Women Act, something very important to the President of the United States based on all of the work he has done. As chair of the Subcommittee on Competition Policy, Antitrust, and Consumer Rights, I was pleased to hear Judge Garland say that his first love in law school was antitrust. Not many people can say that, but he has a clear understanding of this really complex area of law, not only from his work in law school and his work teaching, but also the cases that he has handled as a judge. He committed to vigorously enforce antitrust law, and the principle of antitrust law is the Charter of American Economic Liberty. And I think there is some agreement from both sides of the aisle that robust competition is essential to our free market economy and critical to ensuring that people get the best prices and choices. Vigilant antitrust enforcement means more innovation for the benefit of American families. He recognizes, the nominee, that these are not Republican or Democratic issues, that spanning back in our history back to the Founding Fathers and to Teddy Roosevelt and to Senator Sherman, that there was heavy-duty Republican interest in these issues, as there is on the Democratic side. Finally, I would note what both Senator Durbin and Senator Leahy discussed, and that is his profound understanding of how to go after cases of white supremacists and extremism. The horrific attack on our Capitol on January 6th made very clear that we need leadership at the Justice Department that is equipped to respond to not only what happened that day, but to work to make sure it doesn't happen again. That means, of course, prosecuting these cases and getting to the bottom of who funded this and what happened in this case. But it also means taking this on as a priority going forward. This is the nominee that is going to do this. Judge Garland has the integrity and the independence that we need in the Justice Department. I think people have had enough of political involvement in everything from pardons to decisions in cases, and it has affected the morale of the people that work in the Justice Department, and most importantly, it has affected the morale of the American people and how they feel about our justice system. We have before us someone who's in a unique position to bring back that integrity, to bring back the rule of law, and I wholeheartedly support Merrick Garland for Attorney General. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Blumenthal.